Fellas, have you ever felt like you were doing everything right in a relationship, in your marriage, and it still felt like she wasn't satisfied? I just finished having a conversation with one of my friends who is a successful, high earning, single woman. And, she told me, she was like, yo, men today are so unimpressive. And I was like, what makes them unimpressive, or what would you be impressed by? And she said to me, she said, so many of the men that I meet today, they think that they're doing so much and they're doing the bare minimum. So, a part of me was going to say, like, well, how can you call what a man is doing the bare minimum? Maybe he is doing his best, or, what you perceive to be the bare minimum might not be, right? So where did you get that from? And she was like, yeah, but she said, they think they're doing so much, but the very things that they think they're doing are the bare minimum in comparison to what we have had to do as women. We've been carrying families, we've been carrying children, we've been carrying our careers, carrying paying bills, carrying the house for years. And so that's not impressive. That's the bare minimum for us. And I had to stop and pause and really look at this. And before I even I jump down or I go deeper in this, I want you to know, fellas, this video is not about blaming. It's not about blaming men, but it's about evolving. I think we've been sold a lie as men. We've been taught that, you know, love doesn't require more out of us than just being a provider and being a protector and being present. While love doesn't require perfection, it does require accountability. It does require self-awareness. It does require evolution and growth. And I think while women have had to evolve and to keep learning how to reposition themselves in this world so that they can be accepted, so that they can be treated with equity and dignity and equality, men, on the other hand, we've never really had to fight to prove our value in the workforce or in society. But times have changed. And again, as women have evolved, um, we have not. We have not. So going back to what I was saying about many men are taught that if they stay loyal, um, if they pay the bills, if they don't cheat, then that automatically means that they've earned their place and their peace in the relationship. But again, practically speaking, that's a low bar, right? That's the foundation of the relationship, not the finish line. Just because you're not hurting her doesn't mean you're not helping her thrive. Um, just because you're not stepping out or cheating on her, doing anything to disrespect the relationship, doesn't mean you're helping the relationship become better. You know, So it made me really question, right? Like deep down, what is it today that women really need? And I wanted to share this with you guys because I felt like if you can be honest with yourself, like just think about it from a sports analogy. If you're the coach of a basketball team and you had the star player on the team and the star player comes and he does the bare minimum. He comes to practice, he's there. Sometimes he comes late, but he's there. You do the drills, but he's not doing the drills. He's not going hard. He's half stepping. He's not pushing. He's not driven anymore. Maybe in the beginning you saw the fire and the passion, but now he's just like he's coasting because he knows he got a spot on the team. As a coach, Would you continue to just let him get a pass? Or would you hold him accountable? Will you sit him down? Will you tell him, nah, you're not playing. You're not starting. I'm going to put the other person on the team that's going harder. I'm going to let them start. You're going to hold them accountable. And that's really what I want this video to do. I want us to hold ourselves accountable as men. Like, ask yourself, can I do more? Am I studying my spouse, my wife? Am I learning her? Am I just showing up every day just because I know, well, I got her. She ain't going nowhere. But are you really doing your best? Are you keeping the relationship hot? Are you keeping the relationship spicy? Are you making this relationship interesting enough for your wife to stay excited with you just as much as you want to be excited about her? So here are some deeper needs that the modern woman, the woman that you're with, the 2026 woman, or the woman you want to be with, here are some deeper things that she's looking for. Number one, she's not just looking for a provider, she's looking for a partner. She's looking for a partner, not just a provider. Someone that she can build with, someone who she can run to with problems that need to be solved and you can solve them. And these problems could be anything from problems around the house to problems that she has to face in her career. Are you educated? Are you a thinker? Are you a problem solver? Can you bring solutions in areas of her life where she is frustrated? Because a woman wants to feel safe around her man. She wants to feel covered by her man. She wants to know that he's going to take care of things. She doesn't need you to take care of everything because, once again, she was taking care of herself before you. But if you're going to come into her life, you have to be able to take the load off of her so that she can feel safe, so that she can be soft, so that she can rest. All right. Another thing women need today is emotional safety. Emotional safety. I wrote this down. Is she safe to be soft with you, or does she have to be strong around you too? Is your lady safe to be soft with you, or does she have to be strong around you too? You know, my friend, she said this. She said, a man becomes less and less attractive the more problems that I have to solve all by myself. Because it's like, what are you around for? If she still has to do everything and you're in the picture, then maybe you don't need to be in the picture. Second thing is that a woman today needs, the modern woman today needs from a man is that she needs intentional leadership. She needs intentional leadership. All right. When the Bible says that the man is the head of the wife, what that means is that he is the leader, and that you are called as a man to provide leadership, not just to provide financially, but to provide leadership, not domination, but to provide vision, to provide accountability, to provide structure, and to provide initiative, taking the lead, taking charge in times when it matters. If she has to feel like she has to be the one to plan everything, to make every decision, to decide when and where you're going to go together as a family and how things are going to be run, again, you're allowing her to be the head when she should be the neck, while you're the head that the neck rests on. While she's the neck, while you're the head and you rest on her neck. You know what I'm saying? Right? Another thing that a woman needs from her man today in 2026 is attentiveness. Attentiveness. Are you aware when her energy shifts? Do you notice what she's not saying? You know, one of the things that I've learned after 15 years of marriage is that I had to learn how to listen to my wife's emotions, not just her words. Because sometimes when women become emotionally frustrated, they may not say all the right things. Sometimes it seems like You're trying to be logical and she's just being emotional. And when you try to talk back to her from a place of logic, it begins to become this pointless conversation. It feels like it's going nowhere because you're trying to come to her with logic and she's just coming to you based off of how she's feeling. And so don't try to be the person to be all technical and logistical when she's starting to vent and get frustrated and starts, fuming and start saying things that even might be hurtful at times. Learn to pause and reflect and point out the fact that, okay, what you're telling me right now is not logical. So I need to listen to your emotions. How are you feeling right now? Do you feel triggered? Do you feel unhappy? Do you feel like I'm not reassuring you? What is that? And once you can get to that point, then she can get to the point where you that want to speak from a place of logic, she can relate to you once you relate to her. And that requires you to be a leader. Sometimes this is just not stop trying to prove yourself to be right and just learning how to just listen without arguing. The last thing that a woman needs today from a man in 2026 is vulnerability and self work. Vulnerability and self work. Are you working on you or just expecting her to deal with who you've always been? Are you working on you or are you just expecting her to always deal with who you've always been? That is not realistic. That's not fair. That as she is trying to grow and become better, you need to be growing and trying to become better as well. And again, this goes back to that one word, accountability. See? And it matters now more than ever because high value women today have options. Again, she's likely already providing for herself. So she's not like she needs you for that. What she's looking for is partnership, spiritual maturity. She's looking for emotional intelligence, and she's looking for co-leadership. If you can only be the man by having to have full control to dominate and for your wife to not have a voice and you have to make all the decisions and she doesn't have any input, that's not going to work. Maybe that worked with your mom or your grandmother, but that's not going to work with the modern woman today. She's too educated. She's too sophisticated. She's too aware, too knowledgeable to just keep her mouth shut. Even if you got kids, you see the difference. Before, when you would tell your kids, kids are to be seen and not heard, that even doesn't apply today because our world is everyone is more information and knowledge is so accessible to us that it actually makes no sense to just expect to have people around you to not have an input, to not have an opinion, and to not be able to provide insight. And being a great leader is not always about you having all the answers. It's about learning how you can unearth and tap in to the strengths and the skills of the people around you, which includes your spouse and your children. So we're not in the generation where presence alone is impressive. Quality presence is. Just like time alone is not enough, but quality time makes the difference. All right. So here's the practical shifts that men you need to make to evolve in 2026 to be the type of man that women today crave, yearn for, and actually want to do life with. All right. You must shift from providing only money to providing clarity and security. You must shift from providing only money to providing security and clarity. Number two, you must shift from being reactive to becoming emotionally proactive, right? This is the evolution. You must shift from being only reactive. Stop just reacting to when your wife or your lady becomes emotional, but learn how to be emotionally proactive. Think ahead and start thinking about what are some of the things that you can do to help relieve or make your wife's life easier. Because again, the modern woman, she's learned how to carry the load and carry bills and carry responsibilities. But how can you help alleviate that stress from her so that you can help her become more soft? All right. Next thing is this: you must shift from avoiding conflict to leaning into healthy communication. Shift from avoiding conflict to leaning into healthy communication, right? Learn how to communicate. Don't just withdraw, don't just shut down, but you got to learn how to actually sit down with your wife and actually learn how to use your words and communicate. And guess what? When you become more clear in your communication, it'll force your wife to also become more clear in her communication. The next shift is you must go from performance-based love to purpose-based leadership in the home. You must show up as not just a lover, you must show up as a leader. Being a lover just means, hey, I can bring the charm. I can probably make you laugh. I can probably bring some flowers and some chocolates and make you feel nice. But your wife also needs to know that you are about your business and that you have a vision for this family and for this relationship, and that you guys can have dreams together and you can co-labor and help co-build those dreams together. That's what the modern woman is looking for today in a partner. And lastly, you must go from being enough to becoming excellent. Being excellent in your pursuit of love. At my church, we're spending a whole year on the theme called Rise to Excellence. And being enough is not good enough anymore, because we have access to too much resources, too much knowledge, too much information to just keep doing the bare minimum. You got to learn how to excel in communication, how to fulfill your wife's needs. All right. Learning how to become better financially, learning how to become better even intimately, relationally, sexually, figuring out there are things that I can do to improve and enhance the quality of my marriage and my relationship. And the knowledge and the information is all there. I just have to take some time to study to show myself approved. All right. So as we close, listen, if you want your wife's heart to be open to you, you got to evolve with her soul. She's doing all the work. It's time for you as men to do the work. And I'm speaking to myself too. Because again, that conversation that I had with my friend this morning, it really did something to me, and it's helping me to level up. It's helping me to think deeper and how to become better as a husband, as a father, as a man. All right. So listen, I want you to comment your thoughts. What do you think about this? Is this challenging you? Um, how can, what are your thoughts about this? Just let me know below in the comment section. Share this with another man that you feel like might need to hear this convo. And if you want to join my manhood group, I got a private manhood group over on WhatsApp. I would love to have you in there, where we encourage one another, iron sharpening iron, holding each other accountable. If you want to learn more about it, it's right there in the descriptions. Click that link. Once you tap in, we'll let you in the group, and we're going to continue to grow together. But I hope this blessed you. Make sure you tap in. More footage, more videos to come. So make sure you're subscribed and you're following. Much love to you, and I'll see you more in 2026.